I've never been so exhausted. Last week, we were on an international band trip, which was a huge success. But wow, it took a whole weekend for my introverted body to recuperate. Traveling with food allergies is always an adventure, but what happens when your child is on a school trip? Far from home, surrounded by people who might not get it, and eating food that you didn't prepare. That's what I recently experienced on an international band trip, and let me tell you, it was enlightening. In this episode, I'm sharing our experience, what went right, what went wrong, and the unexpected moments every food allergy parent needs to hear. Whether your child is still little and you're wondering what high school is going to be like, or you've got a tween or teen who's interested in a school trip, this episode will give you real-life insight into food allergies when you're not in control. Let's get to it. Hey food allergy mama, if you're here, you've likely experienced the scary and lonely food allergy diagnosis with your child. Unfortunately, food allergy parents aren't taught how to navigate the food allergy lifestyle, and it's easy to feel alone and discouraged sometimes. But I'm here to show you that food allergy life doesn't have to feel restrictive, scary, or isolated. I'm Corinna, and I'm a 17-year food allergy mom and food allergy coach at Friendly Pantry Consulting. I specialize in making food allergy life safer and less worrisome for food allergy families like yours. I'm not perfect, but over 17 years, I've learned a lot the hard way, and I'm sharing the secrets and resources you won't hear anywhere else that will help you feel confident living with food allergies faster and easier than I did. From introducing allergens, travel, navigating school, and educating friends and family, this podcast will give you the essential tips and strategies you need to help your food allergy child and family thrive. Welcome to the show. Want to get our travel secrets that we've learned after traveling the world with food allergies? Sign up and get our family food allergy travel secrets by going to friendlypantry.com/travel secrets, all one word. It was 7 a.m. Our band trip had been traveling until late the day before, and the kids didn't get to bed till midnight, and I don't think I was in bed till at least 1 a.m., if not later. Being a chaperone on a high school trip is not for the faint of heart because this wasn't the only late night and early morning. In fact, almost every night I was in bed after 11 and up probably before 6. Anyway, this was the first morning, and the kids I was meeting had a variety of allergies and sensitivities, including milk, peanut, tree nut, soy, wheat, gluten, legumes, mustard, sesame, and more. So on this very first day of the band tour, I was meeting with the kids to see who they were and touch base about safe breakfast foods at the hotel. The teacher had put a note in the students' WhatsApp thread, and kids with dietary restrictions were going to meet me in the morning and we would go over some of the safe options. We were at the Fairfield Inn and they provided breakfast every day. So I started by touching base with the kitchen staff from the hotel. Now let me tell you, they were not happy when I asked to read the labels of the breakfast items. But I've done this so many times before and I'm used to it. And for whatever reason, whenever I go to a hotel like this, the staff are resistant to letting me read the labels. But here's the trick. If you ever find yourself in the same position, just tell them that the ingredients are on the outside of the box of food. So if they're serving hash browns or sausages or eggs, they just need to show us the outside of the box. It's super simple and easy. I don't think they ever even realize it, so once you tell them, they're usually fine with showing it to me. Anyway, I had already read the labels and determined that the food seemed safe for the kids' allergies, but I wanted each of the kids with serious allergies to read the labels themselves as a backup. I also wanted to be able to put a name to a face so that I knew which kids had each allergies. Now, we had pictures of each kid and their names and their allergies, but I just wanted to see them so that I could get that real life look at them. But guess what? Not one kid showed up, except my own, who came right at the end. Honestly, I was worried that would happen, but I wasn't allowed to talk with the students before that time, and if it were up to me, I would have met with all the kids with dietary needs before the trip so that we could have at least made first contact. Also, I would have liked the first meeting not to be at 7 a.m. after being up so late. Another challenge we had was that we couldn't get the hotel to give us the ingredients of the food before the trip. The coordinator for the band said that they asked several times and followed up, but never heard back. So I felt like this kind of fell through the cracks. As a travel agent now myself, If I were booking a large group, I would ask the allergy questions before booking the hotel so that we have some leverage, so that we can get the answers we need before we commit to booking. But here are my thoughts about why the kids didn't show up that morning and how to kind of fix this in the future. And the first one is that it was really early and way too late of a night, as I mentioned before, because teens are not known for their ability to get up early, let alone after a long day and night and busy day ahead of them. So I felt like this was kind of a failure waiting to happen. The second being that the kids did not want to feel singled out. They didn't want to feel different, and they also didn't want to miss out on that sleep that everyone else was getting. Lastly, I think they didn't show up because some of them didn't think that they actually needed to read the labels of the breakfast items. They felt that they could guess whether there would be allergens in the item and just avoid those things. While this might be true, I find this worrisome because there have been way too many times when I've been surprised at ingredients you find in items that you don't actually think will be in there, like soy or gluten in sausages, or nuts in baked goods, or sesame in bread, or milk in the scrambled eggs. And so I felt like the kids didn't take their allergies seriously enough. Now, I want you to know that the whole trip went off smoothly without any food allergy reactions or issues, and that's what's most important. But in my opinion, I would change some of the things so that we could eliminate as many risks as possible, especially since we were in an international destination without parents. But what can I do? I mean, I wasn't able to force the kids to show up, and we only had a small amount of time. So all I could do was do my best to ensure the kids with food allergies were as safe as possible. I had to accept their decision and do my best with what I had. So I read the labels, and even though a double check is very important, especially when reading for multiple allergens, I had to accept that I wasn't going to get that. And so if you're a parent listening, I can't emphasize this enough. There won't always be a chaperone that does this for them. They need to be active when it comes to their allergies. So this is a reminder to all parents not to be complacent. Read those labels. Teach your kids to read those labels. This is one of the most important habits because we need to know what's in the food before eating. This small step can be life-saving, and it doesn't have to take a long time, maybe even just 10 minutes before eating a hotel breakfast. I'm not sure if I mentioned this before, but when I talk about food allergy travel, I usually recommend people bring 4 epinephrine devices with them on any trip. And here's why. First of all, it's important to always carry 2 in case the first device doesn't work and another shot is needed to stop the reaction, or maybe it misfires or there's a user error. So if you're always carrying 2, it's also important to have another 2 back in the hotel in case those 2 that you're carrying are either lost or used. It's not easy to get replacement epinephrine in another country. It can be a huge process, and if you're in a busy group trip, it's especially not easy. Because you can't just get your doctor to send the prescription to the pharmacy. It means you may actually have to see a doctor in the other country, and they have to diagnose you with allergies to be able to prescribe an epinephrine injector or device. So who knows how long this could take. The thing is due to school rules, we were not allowed to use epinephrine prescribed to someone else for the wrong person. That said, I'm sure if it was needed, I don't think anyone was going to hesitate. But of course, it's preferable if they bring their own. And we did have a family who was just really not interested in supplying 4. So what could we do? I mean, in the end, we worked with what we had. And for that kid, we wouldn't have backup epinephrine, but I knew we would have backups from other kids. So I was just hoping that he would be responsible and not lose his epinephrine. So those were some of the challenges we ran into, but let's talk about how we actually prepared for the trip and managing food allergies in a group setting. So before planning even got underway, I asked to support the teacher who was choosing the meals and spent some time with her to talk about which restaurants to choose. Now here's the thing, it's not easy with a large group. It's best to book with restaurants that can handle group bookings, and we were on a tight budget. So I tried my best to explain the basics of the questions to ask and to ensure that restaurants truly understood food allergies and cross-contact. I honestly really wanted to call the restaurants myself, but it seemed like the teacher understood and she really did do her best. The next thing we did was to bring snacks that would work for all of the allergies on the trip. So I sourced and packed enough granola bars for 1 per day per allergy kid, and the plan was to buy granola bars for the rest of the kids at the destination. So the reason why I packed these snacks was because we only had time to go to one grocery store to get all the snacks, so we were at the mercy of what they had in stock, and you never know what there's going to be. In the end, I was super happy that I did this because sure enough, there were no granola bars that would save for all of the allergies at that grocery store. As an aside, I also packed a couple of dried backup meals just for my daughter because we almost always bring backup meals, especially for travel days, because when you're rushed, you're not sure what you'll find at the airport, or even if you'll have enough time to eat before. We ended up not needing these, but it's always nice to know that it's there. The next thing we wanted to tackle was the research of what to eat at the theme parks. And one of the big reasons for going on the trip was because we were going to take workshops and perform at Disneyland and also visit Universal Studios. So we have been to Disney many times, and so I feel pretty good about having to find food there. That said, in my opinion, Disneyland is not as good with food allergies as Disney World is, but they are okay. So I did some research to find which food locations would be able to manage food allergies best at Disneyland, and then I sent a message out to the student WhatsApp chat on the days that we went there so that the kids with allergies knew where to go. Now, not only that, but I really wanted those kids' friends to understand that they may need to take extra time and ask questions and possibly talk to the chef so that there would be an understanding, so that the kids would not be, impatient with them. So I explained this in the message too. Now, Universal was a little different. You can actually send an email to Universal Studios in California, tell them your allergies, and they will send you a form back telling you the places that are safe for your allergies and what to order. So that's what we did there. One expected challenge we had during the planning process was that there would be people who would say no milk on their medical form, and then when the teacher would talk to them, they would say, "Oh, we can have a little, but we may just ask for no cheese on our food." And this happened countless times with various kids and different allergies, which made it very difficult to understand who was truly allergic and who had a sensitivity. Now, it all got ironed out mostly before the trip, but I think if they would have made a small change to the medical form, it would have made things so much easier for planning. So instead of asking, "Do you have any dietary restrictions?" they could break it out into 2 questions like this. Question 1, please list food allergies that require epinephrine or are sensitive to cross-contact, including celiac. Then, in a separate question, they could say, please list food sensitivities that you would like to avoid if possible, but are not sensitive to cross-contact or contamination. Now, of course, you can massage the wording to make it work best, but having this clarity is going to make things so much easier for planning and then actually on the trip too. And then while we're on the trip, I was a little annoyed with some of the restaurants because they would just skip providing some of the food for kids with allergies. So, for example, if they were providing a boxed lunch that included a sandwich, potato chips, and a dessert, they would only include the sandwich for the allergy kids and skip the rest. Now, I want them to be safe. That is the first priority. But with the amount of notice that they got, they should be able to at least include an apple or an orange or a banana for those kids instead of skipping sides altogether. Overall, I have to say that this was an amazing experience for the kids. There were so many memories made, and as one parent put it, friends you make on band trips are friends you make for life, and I have to agree. My daughter and the others absolutely loved their time, and they really made so many memories and friendships, and I'm so glad that I could be a part of it and help make things safer for the food allergy kids too. So what do you think? Was this episode helpful? If you're planning a trip for a group or your family, I can take the stress and guesswork out of planning because I understand what's important when traveling with food allergies. I have many years' experience and I've been all over the world. I can help you source, book, and plan all of your allergy-friendly accommodations, restaurants, and trip details so you don't have to stress and you don't have to do it alone. Go to friendlypantry.com/travel advisor or follow me on Instagram @foodallergytraveladvisor, all one word. I hope to see you there. Thanks for listening and bye for now. Before you go, Mama, if you love this episode and want deeper support, head over to friendlypantry.com to see how we can partner together to keep your food allergy child safer and worry less. There's no need for wasting time searching all over Instagram, TikTok, and the web to get the practical knowledge you need for your family. While you're there, grab your free Food Allergy Kids Empowerment Guide or the newly diagnosed checklist today. Topics are not medical advice and are the opinions, views, and property of Friendly Pantry Consulting Incorporated. All rights reserved. Always contact your board-certified allergist, immunologist for health advice.